For Construction Pros, CONEXPO 17, live from the Las Vegas Convention Center. And with me now is Paul Brenner, who is Global Marketing Manager for Eaton. Welcome aboard, sir.
Thank you very much, young man.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Well, what do you bring to the marketplace here at the show, and what's your first impression?
Yeah, my first impressions are, it's always a great show, and this time round, compared to 3 years back, it looks like there's some change in the market, perhaps a slight upward swing in the market, which is very, very encouraging. Eaton brings a range of system solutions in the hydraulic space, in mobile and industrial applications, but obviously here today we're focused on those mobile applications.
So what are some of the machine building challenges that you bring to OEM customers, and how do you work together, their engineers and your engineers?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the challenges we face in the market today is there's a lot of regulation. There's a lot of constraints around the regulation, not just from engine emission, exhaust emission regulations,
right,
but also from noise, sound quality, and safety. Safety is a big one that we see. So we try and work with the engineers in the OEM space to solve those problems. The customers are asking for more and more performance of the machine, but the engineers in the design space within those OEMs are constrained by those regulations. So there's always this trade-off between...
It's a workaround?
Exactly. There's always a trade-off between productivity increases, fuel efficiency improvements, and the constraints of those regulations. So we try and understand the customer's wants and needs right up front, and then try and help them solve those problems.
Is there any one specific area that you're focused on in today's world that's really kind of a head scratcher?
Well, there's this big talk today about the IoT strategy, the Internet of Things, and the connectivity of products.
Yes.
Not just machines connecting, but also how products connect and bring value. And those challenges I mentioned earlier, the IoT really is something that we all have to consider, how we network our products and help the OEM solve those problems. And it's a true challenge today, but we've got a very strong strategy around the Internet of Things with our products.
One of the things I've been hearing about lately has been, at least particularly at this show, is now the attachments that are made for the machines, and how the machines can talk to the attachments, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Does that come under your bailiwick, so to speak?
Yeah, absolutely. My responsibilities are not only for the hydraulic products, but also the electronic controls and software.
Right.
If you go to the Eaton booth, you'll see the booth is broken out via propel, work, steering, and auxiliary. So those attachments that you mentioned there actually fall into our auxiliary solution space. And we have software and electronic controls and displays, and then all the hydraulics as the basis underneath. So we do understand those requirements, and we break ourselves out in that way.
Is there anything new to the hydraulics field that is really being discussed, or is a challenge in the days going forward, as far as getting either larger or getting smaller? Hydraulics itself has been almost a field unto its own.
Yeah, that's a great question. Over the years, we see incremental increases in performance in terms of mechanical efficiency and volumetric efficiency, but they're very, very small because there's only so much you can do with a hydraulic pump or motor. So now we see the whole control suite, the controls that reside on those products, and yet again, back how they connect together. So the OEM is looking for us to work with them on network products and how they even communicate with the engine, the prime mover.
Now, would you, as an example, move beyond the OEM and work with a customer as opposed to a group of customers, or let's say in the situation where a customer brings a question to the OEM and they say, we can't resolve this issue?
That is a great question. So we do extensive research, not only on what the OEM needs for their machines, but also the end users. Now, you've got to be very careful because the OEM sometimes says, you're treading on my turf there.
Exactly.
But we found that our knowledge and our upfront research of the end user requirements, say in underground mining, in sand and aggregate, in material handling, really builds credibility for us when we talk to the OEM, and we're straight away talking the same language as we meet with the OEM to discuss their requirements.
So you can say, look, we can do this and we can't do this, but is there a situation that would arise maybe that you'd say, let's go back to the OEM and discuss it with them besides talking directly?
Absolutely, absolutely. We always start a project by trying to understand the market requirements, the end user requirements, and then what the OEM, the machine builder, is also trying to do.
So it's a hand in glove, not only with the OEM, but also potentially with the customer
absolutely.
as well.
And that's the only real way you're going to be successful.
Right, right. Well, what is Eaton coming into the marketplace with? Anything new that you can talk about?
Yeah, I mean, there's products that recently have been released. Our CMA, Advanced Mobile Valve, just like this we were talking about earlier with the Internet of Things, a very advanced valve that helps reduce the losses, the parasitics, in the overall hydraulic system. So CMA is probably one of the most advanced valves out there in the hydraulic space today. It uses integrated sensors and onboard electronics, and it's a CAN-based valve. So this valve can communicate with other systems, subsystems, and even directly with the engine as well. So that's a new release. It's based on a technology that's been unique to Eaton for perhaps 10 years, and this recent release is the 4th generation of this product. Great product. Everybody should go to the Eaton booth and go and call out for CMA.
The CMA.
CMA.
That's it. That's what we're going to do.
There you go.
Well, you keep referring to the Internet of Things, which I find intriguing. Is it going to become more specific terminology going forward?
I mean, I think the Internet of Things comes from the residential space, where people want to get on their phone and adapt their thermostat. But then there's this IIoT, which is the industrial Internet of Things. But fundamentally, it's realistically the same. Products connected together that bring value.
Talking to one another.
Talking to one another, indeed.
Yeah, very good. Paul Brenner, who's Global Marketing Manager for Eaton, and it's an interesting topic he brings to bear and talk with us, and certainly go and see Eaton and the folks near South Hall.
Yep, South Hall.
South Hall, here at CONEXPO 17, and certainly if you're interested in any of these topics, contact your Eaton representative. From CONEXPO 17.